Today, I'm gonna be showing you guys how to make two totally epic breakfast burritos, meal prep style. I love breakfast burritos for a number of reasons, mostly because they're super quick and easy to whip up. You don't need a ton of expensive or fancy ingredients. And what I love about them is that they are packable and they're on the go friendly. So you can take them to school, take them to work with you. They make for a great breakfast or lunch that you can reheat. These savory burritos are gonna be your new favorite meal prep breakfast go-to. And as a special bonus, I'm also gonna be showing you guys how to make the most to die for pillowy soft, stretchy and flexible gluten-free and vegan tortillas made from almond flour. They are honestly like so freaking unreal. You're gonna love them if you are looking for a new, more delicious gluten-free wrap alternative, which can be kind of hard to come by. And personally, I love them. So let's get right into this epic burrito breakfast meal prep. Okay, so we're gonna get started by making our almond flour tortillas. So we've got a cup of almond flour here and half a cup of tapioca starch. And then all we're gonna do is add a couple more ingredients. We're gonna add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm using pink Himalayan, but sea salt would be fine as well. And then we're gonna add 1/8 of a teaspoon, so basically just like a pinch of xanthan gum. And this is gonna help to give the tortillas just stretch and elasticity, which is definitely important because when you're rolling up tortillas to like make a burrito, you don't want them to rip. So that is why we add xanthan gum. And you'll usually see it in a lot of gluten-free flour blends as well. So now just whisk it all up until it's a well-combined dry mixture. And now we're just gonna add 1 cup of water, just cold, good old tap water. And give it a good whisk. So basically this batter should kind of like resemble almost like a crepe batter. So it's definitely going to be a lot thinner than pancake batter, but not watery either. It's just kind of right in the middle. So yeah, it should look something like this, nice and smooth and like very thin pancake batter. Okay, batter's done. Now all you need to do is grab yourself some sort of flat cooktop device. Once your frying pan or your skillet is nice and hot, we're just gonna take some cooking spray and give it a little spritz. And I'm going to just pour in pretty full, like almost overflowing 1/3 of a cup portions of the batter. Now that my skillet is nice and hot, then we're just gonna quickly kind of tilt it to make a larger circle so we can have a larger tortilla, pretty much as large as you can reasonably manage. That turned out pretty good actually. Like that is a good size. So now we're just gonna let these tortillas cook for about 4-ish minutes per side. So they're not like super quick to make, but I promise you the end result is worth the time because these are honestly so good. Now you can see that like already they're starting to like bubble up and get nice and kind of pillowy looking. They're so nice. Okay, so it's been about 3 minutes. So you can sort of tell when the tortilla is ready to be flipped because you'll sort of notice that the edges are starting to lift a bit, which is a good sign. So you can kind of carefully start by kind of going around, just lifting up all the edges carefully before you flip it, just to unstick them. And then just very carefully, without burning yourself, give it a good flip. Oh, that was so beautiful. Oh, that is just so gorgeous, darling. I just can't even. Oh my God. Just look at the nice, slight golden edges. It's starting to get all nice and bubbly. And oh, these are, they're hot, but they are soft. They're soft. Okay, so now basically just let this cook for another 3-ish minutes and Bob's your uncle. We are pretty much done here. We have just a little bit of color around the edges, which is what we want. And they're kind of we've got some bubble action going on. So those are done. They are, it is perfect. So we're just gonna transfer this over to our cooling rack and make a few more. The first breakfast burrito that we're tackling, as I mentioned before, is this autumn-inspired butternut breakfast burrito. So we're gonna need to chop up a butternut squash. Now, this recipe really only needs half of a butternut squash, but honestly, you might as well just chop up and cook the whole thing, because then you have leftover roasted butternut squash, and that's never a bad thing. It's always nice to have a cooked veggie on hand. So you do you, boo. If you just wanna cut up and chop up half of this, that's fine. Doing that butternut peeling. If you want my butter and you think I'm nutty, come on baby, let me know. Okay, so we have chopped our squash into roughly 1-inch-ish cubes. All good. So now we're just gonna transfer this to a baking tray. Ta-da! Okay, so now for the fun part. We are going to season our butternut squash. Now, you only need to do half. Like I said before, I'm gonna do the whole thing, so just half the measurements for the seasonings that I'm showing you if you want to just cook up half a squash today. Okay, so we're gonna season our butternut squash. We're going to season our butternut squash with some fresh rosemary. Is there seriously anything nicer smelling than fresh rosemary? Okay, so chop up, mince up very finely actually, about 2 tablespoons, okay, of rosemary. Now we're just going to very lightly oil our squash. Just use cooking spray if you haven't, or you can just drizzle on maybe about a teaspoon of any neutral oil like avocado or vegetable oil or grapeseed oil. We're just gonna give it a really light coating. And then we're going to add our chopped rosemary. 2 tablespoons worth approximately. And then for even more amazing fall flavor, this herb here, dried sage, happens to be one of my absolute favorite herbs. It just like feels like fall to me. So we're gonna add half a teaspoon. We're gonna add a generous pinch of salt, okay? And a healthy few grinds of black pepper. Now just give everything a little kind of toss about with your hands until all the squash is coated in the spices and the fresh rosemary and herbs. It's good times. Okay, now let's pop the squash in the, pop a squash. Oh my God, seriously, where does my mind go sometimes? Let's pop the squash in the oven. We've got it at 375 preheated. We're gonna roast this up for about 30 to 35 minutes until it's nice and soft and fork tender. All right, people, it's bumping in here. We've got our tortillas, which came out beautifully. They're so soft and pliable, except for one. I actually overcooked one, so it's a little bit on the crunch side, which is fine. I am gonna still use it. I'm probably just gonna not make it into a burrito. It's probably gonna be more like a, one of those like fold up quesadilla type things, but it's gonna be good either way. And then I am making some tofu scramble, and I'm not gonna show you guys how to make it in this video, just so that we can keep this video to a reasonable length. But you guys can check out my short, which is right up here in the top of, top of this corner. I have a really quick little YouTube short you can check out. Shows you how to make my favorite tofu scramble recipe. It's super simple. I've made a quick little sauce. It's kind of like an eggy sauce. Just pour it in, and now I'm just gonna stir it into my tofu scramble. Make sure you watch the YouTube short because it explains it all perfectly. Okay, friends, so our butternut squash has come out of the oven just a couple minutes ago. It is looking bold and beautiful and golden and gorgeous, all those good adjectives. And we got some tofu scramble, and I made a big batch because I'm just gonna enjoy this all week. So while those ingredients are just cooling, we are going to start by making our classic black bean burritos. These are honestly so simple. They're practically a non-recipe type burrito. You can pretty much just load in all the ingredients as you please and pop them in your freezer, and then you have delicious burritos. Voila. We have one burrito ready for the freezer. Okay, moving right along, we've got our ingredients for our next butternut breakfast burrito. We've got, of course, our butternut squash, our tofu scramble. I've also got some chopped kale just to switch things up a little bit. And we're also changing up our beans. I do love pinto beans in burritos, so let's try out something new. And of course, I have my 2 remaining tortillas, and I've got some Hatch Valley salsa that I got from Trader Joe's. Just thought maybe using a green salsa in these burritos would be totally bomb.com. Hey, look at that. That ain't half bad, you know? That is beautiful and bodacious and butternutty as well. Yum. Can we just like appreciate these wraps? Like they're not ripping. It's amazing. Wrapping it up like a little present, a little gift to yourself, a little breakfast gift to yourself. Okay, now cooking these up is a breeze. All you have to do to reheat them is just pop them in your air fryer. I did mine for about 23 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and they are toasty and golden and crispy around the edges of the tortillas, especially if you're making the almond flour tortillas. Oh my gosh. And this one is the black bean breakfast burrito, and oh my gosh, this one is so good. It's so classic. It's like the classic burrito, and it is honestly so flippin' fabulous. And of course, the butternut squash burrito is probably my favorite just because of all the delicious fall flavors. Well, people, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe below. Joining my steamy vegan community would mean so much to me, and I would just love to help you in your plant-based journey. And also check out this meal prep video and a grocery haul to keep you going until the next video. I love you, and I'll see you in another one real soon. Bye-bye.